What's going on, everyone? So the Lakers have the 17th pick in the upcoming draft, as well as the 55th pick in the upcoming draft. And there's a lot of talk, speculation about more likely than not, the Lakers are going to trade the draft picks, potentially both. More likely than not, are going to trade the number 17 pick. Lakers, they want to upgrade and improve their roster. The only way that they really have to do that is via trade. They are incredibly limited as far as free agency goes with players that they can get. This also isn't a great free agency class. Not like there's a bunch of pieces that are like, oh, this guy and this guy make a ton of sense for the Lakers, right? It really is just kind of limited to just a handful of maybe free agents that you're taking a flyer on. Like, can you convince Valanciunas on the taxpayer mid-level? Maybe you could take a flyer on like a Kevin Porter Jr., right? He could come in, maybe he could be kind of a scorer off the bench for you and kind of rebrand himself using the Lakers name, right? Outside of that, you're hopefully trying to keep like Taurean Prince, maybe Christian Wood opted in. More likely than not, you're going to look outwards to other teams via trades, right? Obviously, there's all the superstar talks about the Lakers getting the third stars, something like Donovan Mitchell, which that would be ideal. Trae Young, maybe they look to get a DeJounte Murray. I've even said I would kind of like to see the Lakers maybe go get multiple pieces, right? Can you go get a DeJounte Murray and like an Alex Caruso or something, right? Or maybe look to Chicago. Can you get DeMar DeRozan, Alex Caruso, and Andre Drummond, right? Well, you probably just sign Andre Drummond, but get my point, right? Like instead of going and getting like a Trae, go get two or three guys that maybe could come in, be kind of upgrades for your roster, and then go try to make a championship level push this year. But Bronny James is a huge talking point, huge topic right now because he is expected to enter the NBA draft. He was cleared to be able to play in the NBA, right, with all his medical and stuff like that. So the idea is team might draft Bronny and the hopes to lure LeBron James in free agency, right? Now, LeBron, he can opt out. He could leave. There's a million options in LeBron's department, but he's not going anywhere, at least this year, right? There's a lot of talk, and the Lakers and LeBron and Rich Paul and all of them are really trying to downplay this like Bronny thing, which makes a world of sense. So Bronny, I would be very surprised if he's taken in the first round. Very surprised because not like he didn't have, well, one, he has the medical issues, obviously. Again, don't want to get too much into that. That's his own private personal stuff, right? Too many people like to talk heavily about that. Two, there is the aspect of just like his poor performance with USC. Now, a lot of scouts and stuff try to downplay that and say like, oh, hey, well, he just was out of position, and then, the health scares, and then it's just, and yes, that very well could be a part of it, but we've seen guys slip drastically. I mean, Michael Porter Jr., right? Look at Denver ends up getting him. I mean, he was at one point locked to be the number one pick in the draft that year, and he ends up sliding down to the Denver Nuggets, right? So talk about a guy that was at best a fringe first round pick who now has all these question marks. He's probably dropping late to maybe not even drafted. And so the Lakers and Rich Paul and LeBron James are seeing all the reports of like it's not a priority, right? LeBron doesn't really care. LeBron's going to sign a long-term extension with the Lakers, likely 3 years, 160 million max, right? Whoever gets Bronny, good, let him carve his own path. Even Rich Paul recently talked about like, hey, it's really not something. Does LeBron want to play with this kid? Sure. But it's not something that LeBron has to do. It's not something Bronny's pushing for. Both sides don't really care. Is basically the sentiment that keeps getting put out. And why would you do that? Right? Because there was all this talk for years that LeBron had to play with Bronny. That LeBron, that there's a real chance if you take Bronny that, LeBron will follow at some point. Right? Why all of a sudden? Because it gives the Lakers an opportunity to draft him. Lakers aren't going to take it. Even if the Lakers keep the 17th pick, they're not going to take him with the 17th pick. Like it makes zero sense. He's not a first round player. He's going to fall to the second round, right? Maybe you take him with the 55th pick if he's there. But more likely than not, you're in a position where it's like he could just pull a Austin Reeves, right? Where he just is like, maybe somebody's willing to draft him and take a shot on him at late second round, and he just goes, nah, I'm just going to go undrafted, get picked up by the Lakers, go play with my dad. That's more likely than not the scenario that happens. I mean, there's all kinds of mock drafts going around and everything like that because the rotation as far as the draft is set. And pretty much all of them have Bronny going undrafted, which makes a lot of sense. Again, giving all the question marks about Bronny. So, if you're the Lakers and you're LeBron and you're rich, you're trying to essentially just scare the other teams away from going and taking a flyer on Bronny, and then now LeBron either A, never gets to play with the Sun, or B, he has to go to some random team, right? Now, could a team like, Boston or something take a flyer on him, right? They're like, we got, the 30th pick or whatever, let's just take Bronny and see what happens, right? Like, maybe we get LeBron in a year or two, and for his farewell tour, that'd be money. And if he's still good, maybe he can help lead us to a championship. Or, you have one of these teams, maybe the Cavs, whatever, right? Somebody takes Bronny on just like a flyer because they're in a position where it's like, we don't need any young guys. Any young guy we take is not going to really play. Like one of these like contending teams, right? You could see maybe one of them taking a flyer. But again, if everybody's kind of just backing eye, everyone's like, hey, look, you drafting Bronny is not going to get you LeBron. LeBron's going to stay with the Lakers. He's very likely going to retire Laker. If he does leave, it's going to end up being one of those things where he signs a farewell deal with the Cleveland Cavaliers, right? Like, you start, now teams are going like, do we really want to waste our pick on Bronny? Do we really want to draft Bron? Like, if we could draft Bronny and we know LeBron is coming at some point, right? Even if it is 3 years from now, because you got to think it's financial incentive too, right? So, especially one of these small market teams, like say Charlotte, right? Charlotte were to take Bronny. I'm not saying that they're going to take him with one of the top picks, but like if one of these teams, Houston or whatever, has like 50 picks, like at one point do they take somebody and just go, hey, we got Bronny. Right, there's going to be money in Bronny coming anyway, right? Like, Bronny will probably make us more than we would have to pay for him. But also, LeBron, if he comes, even if LeBron is a shell of him for himself at that point, he's still going to bring a bunch of money, a bunch of eyeballs, a bunch of everything, right? Like, he's never going to be a bad player. Like, LeBron's never going to be terrible. But, like, let's say he's not this top 10 guy. Let's say he's not this star guy. Let's say he's just kind of like this, like, he's just a really good player, right? Like, team might look at it and go, man, if we could bring LeBron here for like $10 million, like he's better than anyone else we'd bring in for $10 million, and we'd probably make $100 million doing so. So there is financial incentive in that regards. But, the Lakers kind of downplaying it, LeBron kind of downplaying it, Rich Paul downplaying it. Everyone's all of a sudden, after all this time, just going, it's not a big deal. Like, LeBron wants to play with his son, but he doesn't care. It's not this big thing. But, like, for years, he was making this big thing. For years, it was like, you got to make... So now it's kind of, to me, it's like, it's clear what's happening. The Lakers have intentions of taking Bronny, but they're only going to take him if he's very likely undrafted, or maybe they take him with the 55th pick. But they probably are going to trade that pick too. So the Lakers have 3 firsts, couple pick swaps, and 5 seconds, right? They're going to need more than one guy. Even if they go and they trade for Trae Young, which, again, I'm not super sold on Trae. I like Trae. He's a great player. I just have a lot of questions for it. Again, we'll touch on that more in later videos. But, let's say they do get a Trae. You still need to get other pieces. And you probably lost all of your firsts to go get Trae because they only have 3 in like a pick swap, something like that. So, more likely than not, now you're looking at your 5 seconds and you're going, okay, can we take our seconds and go get a piece or two, right? Like, look at like the Rui deal. Costs like 4 seconds. You can do something like that. Can you basically take your 5 seconds and turn it into 2 guys, right? Can you get like maybe like, like a Nick Richards and something, right? Like, it just basically take 2 or 3 picks, go get one guy, 2 or 3 seconds, and go get another guy. Boom. Now you got Trae, and you got these like 2 other guys that maybe come in and help. Again, just using Trae as an example. But nonetheless, right, like the Lakers they're going to push in the trade front. They're going to push in the trade market. And then if they can land Bronny somehow, some way, maybe they buy a second round pick, right? Maybe they look and go, hey, let's do LeBron a solid. Let's go buy the 45th pick in the draft or something, right? And they go spend $1 million, $2 million, whatever to draft Bronny, right? Because you're going to make your money back. Like if the Lakers could spend $10 million on a second round pick to go draft Bronny, and they're going to make hundreds of millions, right? That story, that narrative, people are going to go and want to see LeBron and Bronny on the court together, right? You're going to have that running. I mean, Bronny would make so much money for the Lakers because LeBron signs a new contract extension. You're going to have Bronny the entire 10-year, right? If Bronny does kind of evolve into being his own guy and actually does, because he does have a lot of talent. Bronny, okay, one thing, however you feel about Bronny, the one thing's for certain, he has the defense, the NBA defense of ability and the IQ. So he has two very valuable traits in this league, the defense and the IQ. Now, those are two things that you have to want. You can't just be taught IQ, right? Like you can learn stuff, but like you see LeBron is just naturally gifted. His sons, both of them, are really just naturally gifted and have that vision, have that idea. And the defense side of things, Bronny gets after it on the defensive side, right? So worst case scenario, you're bringing him in, like if he's just like a playmaking, like if let's say he's your backup point guard that's just making plays and defending, right? Like there's value there, right? Like so, like drafting Bronny wouldn't just be just for like the fun of it, but again, it depends on where you draft him, and obviously if you can get him as an undrafted free agent, then yeah, you bring him in, right? If he goes undrafted or he kind of pulls an Austin Reeves, you bring him in. It's simple. But anyway, as always, this is a discussion. Pass a question on you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. What do you think? How do you feel? What are your thoughts? Do you think the Lakers are down? Like everyone is kind of downplaying Bronny because they want the Lakers to get him. Do you want the Lakers to get him? Obviously not draft him again with the 17th pick or anything like that. But, say the 55th pick. Would you be okay with that? Or if the Lakers bought a pick, bought a second round pick to draft him, are you hoping that he goes undrafted? If he is undrafted, do you think bring him in? Or are you in the camp of like, don't bring him regardless? I don't care if he goes undrafted. Keep him away from the Lakers, which I've seen some people feel that way. To me, look, he definitely has talent. And his father is one of, if not the best players ever to play the game. Now, that doesn't mean that it necessarily translates for the kids. I mean, look at Michael Jordan and his kids, right? But to have Bronny on the Lakers, being able to work not only with the training staff and the Lakers and all that stuff, but also LeBron, and LeBron being able to shape him and mold him and, help look at what LeBron was able to do for Rui. Look at the strides that Rui had between last year and this year because of LeBron. I mean, Phil Handy, everybody talked about it, right? Like, so imagine if his kid had that much time to work with him. It's just a thought. But anyway, again, as always, this is a discussion. Pass a question on you. Let me know down in the comments. That being said, if you haven't liked this video, hit that like button. Helps me a lot. So if you enjoy these types of videos, and I truly appreciate it. Not subscribe to the channel, hit that subscribe button. Turn on the bell notifications. Appreciate y'all. See you in the next one. Thank you.